The bustling atmosphere of the Stardust Bar was a welcome distraction for many weary travelers. Situated in the heart of the intergalactic port, the bar was a melting pot of species from across the galaxy. Humans, Zorfians, Andromedans, and many more mingled, sharing stories, drinks, and the occasional dance. The Stardust Bar was an impressive establishment, a marvel of interstellar design. The bar itself was a long, curved structure made of a material that seemed to shimmer with 1,000 colors, reflecting the light from various neon signs and holographic displays. Above the bar hung a massive chandelier made of crystals that floated in midair, constantly shifting and rearranging themselves in a mesmerizing pattern. The walls were adorned with screens showing scenes from different planets, and the air was filled with the sound of music that was a blend of different cultural influences, creating a unique and captivating atmosphere. Amidst the vibrant chaos, Lucas, a human engineer from Earth, nursed his drink, watching the spectacle with mild amusement. His latest project had brought him to this corner of the universe, and the bar was a perfect place to unwind. As he contemplated returning to his ship, a flicker of movement caught his eye. Lucas was a man in his early 30s, with short, tousled brown hair and piercing blue eyes that seemed to take in everything around him. He was of average height, but had a strong athletic build, a result of years spent working in the physically demanding field of spacecraft engineering. His hands were rough and calloused, evidence of countless hours spent tinkering with machinery and electronics. Despite his rugged appearance, there was a certain warmth and kindness in his eyes, a trait that often drew people to him. Entering the bar was an alien girl with an ethereal presence. Her skin shimmered with a soft, lavender hue, and her eyes, a striking shade of silver, scanned the room with curiosity. Her name was Lyra, a visitor from the distant planet of Lyrion. Lyra was a stunning sight, even among the diverse crowd of the Stardust Bar. Her long, flowing hair was a deep shade of indigo, cascading down her back like a waterfall. Her features were delicate and refined, with high cheekbones, a slender nose, and full lips that seemed to naturally curve into a gentle smile. She wore a flowing dress made of a material that appeared almost liquid, changing colors and patterns as she moved, reflecting the light in a way that made her seem otherworldly. Lyra's mission was one of exploration and understanding, and she had been drawn to the Stardust Bar by tales of its lively atmosphere. Her people valued knowledge and cultural exchange, and she had been chosen as an ambassador to learn about the diverse species that inhabited the galaxy. This mission was both an honor and a responsibility, and Lyra took it very seriously. She had spent months traveling from planet to planet, immersing herself in different cultures and documenting her experiences. As Lyra entered the bar, she felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She had heard so much about the Stardust Bar, and now that she was finally here, she hoped to make meaningful connections and learn as much as she could. She scanned the room, taking in the sights and sounds, and felt a sense of wonder at the sheer diversity of life forms present. Lyra found a seat at the bar, a few stools away from Lucas. She ordered a drink, her voice a melodic hum that caught Lucas's attention. The bartender, a friendly Zorfian with bright orange skin and multiple eyes, handed her a glowing blue beverage that emitted a faint, pleasant aroma. Lyra thanked him with a nod and took a sip, savoring the unique flavor that was both sweet and tangy. Lucas glanced her way, and their eyes met for a brief moment. There was something magnetic about her, an unspoken connection that neither could deny. He felt a strange pull, an urge to speak to her, to learn more about her. It was a feeling he couldn't quite explain, but one that he couldn't ignore. A small smile played on Lyra's lips as she noticed Lucas's gaze. "First time here?" she asked, her voice carrying a hint of amusement. Lucas chuckled, lifting his glass. "You could say that. I'm usually buried in work. This is a rare break for me." Lyra's eyes sparkled with interest. "What kind of work do you do?" "I'm an engineer," Lucas replied, leaning slightly closer. "Specialize in spacecraft systems. What about you? What brings you here?" Lyra took another sip of her drink, considering her response. "I'm an explorer. My people sent me to learn about other cultures, other worlds, and this bar seemed like a good place to start. As the evening progressed, their conversation flowed effortlessly. They spoke of their worlds, their dreams, and the vastness of space. Each shared story and laugh seemed to weave an invisible thread between them. By the time the bar began to empty, Lyra felt a warmth in her chest she had never experienced before. Lucas, too, was captivated. There was something about Lyra that transcended her alien appearance. She was kind, intelligent, and curious. As they talked, he found himself opening up to her in a way he hadn't with anyone else in a long time. He told her about his childhood on Earth, his fascination with space, and the journey that had led him to become an engineer. He spoke of the challenges he faced in his career, the long hours, and the constant pressure to innovate and excel. Lyra listened intently, her eyes never leaving his face. She found his passion and dedication inspiring, and she admired his resilience and determination. In return, she shared stories of her own life on Lyrion, a planet known for its breathtaking beauty and advanced technology. She spoke of the crystal-clear lakes, the towering mountains, and the lush forests that covered her home planet. She described the unique symbiotic relationship her people had with their environment, a bond that allowed them to live in harmony with nature. As the night wore on, Lucas and Lyra felt a growing connection, a bond that seemed to transcend the differences between their worlds. They laughed together, shared their hopes and dreams, and discovered a mutual respect and admiration for each other. By the time the bar began to empty, they felt as if they had known each other for years. As they parted ways that night, exchanging contact information, both knew this encounter was just the beginning of something extraordinary. They agreed to meet again, eager to continue their conversations and explore the possibilities of their newfound connection. As Lucas walked back to his ship, he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation for what the future might hold. Chapter 2. Discovering Common Ground. Days turned into weeks, and Lucas and Lyra's initial meeting blossomed into a deep friendship. They exchanged messages, sharing more about their lives and cultures. Lucas found himself looking forward to their conversations, often finding excuses to visit the Stardust Bar in hopes of running into her. Lucas and Lyra's communication was facilitated by advanced translation technology, allowing them to understand each other perfectly despite the differences in their languages. They used holographic communication devices, which projected their images in real time, making it feel as if they were sitting in the same room. These devices also allowed them to share images, videos, and other media, further enriching their conversations. One evening, as the stars twinkled overhead, they met again at the bar. This time they chose a quieter corner, away from the noise and bustle. Lucas brought a holographic map of the galaxy, eager to show Lyra some of the places he had visited. "Here," he pointed to a bright dot on the map. "This is where I worked on the Hyperion project. It was a massive endeavor, integrating advanced propulsion systems. It took us months to complete, but the result was incredible." Lyra leaned closer, her eyes wide with fascination. "Your work sounds amazing. I've always been intrigued by human engineering. Our technology on Lyrion is different, more organic and symbiotic with nature." Lucas smiled, his curiosity piqued. "I'd love to learn more about it. Maybe you could show me sometime." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. "I'd be delighted to. There's so much we can learn from each other." Their conversation drifted to more personal topics. Lucas spoke of his family on Earth, his childhood dreams of exploring the stars, and the challenges he faced in his career. He showed Lyra holographic images of his hometown, a picturesque coastal village with sandy beaches and rolling hills. He shared stories of his parents, who had always encouraged his love for science and exploration, and his younger sister, who was following in his footsteps as an aspiring astronaut. Lyra, in turn, shared stories of her home planet, its breathtaking landscapes, and the intricate bond her people had with their environment. She described the floating cities of Lyrion, built on massive platforms that hovered above the ground, powered by the planet's unique energy sources. She spoke of the vibrant festivals that celebrated the changing seasons, where her people would gather to dance, sing, and share stories. As the night wore on, Lucas noticed a change in Lyra. She seemed more at ease, her laughter more frequent, her smiles warmer. He couldn't help but feel a growing affection for her, one that went beyond mere friendship. Lyra, too, felt the stirrings of something deeper. Lucas's kindness, his passion for his work, and his genuine interest in her world had touched her heart. She had never felt this way about anyone before, human or otherwise. Their connection deepened with each passing day, and soon they found themselves spending more time together outside the bar. They explored the intergalactic port, visiting museums, attending cultural events, and even embarking on a few small adventures. One memorable day, Lucas and Lyra decided to visit the Intergalactic Botanical Gardens, a sprawling complex that housed plant species from across the galaxy. As they wandered through the gardens, marveling at the exotic flora, they felt a sense of wonder and delight in each other's company. Lucas was particularly fascinated by the bioluminescent flowers from Lyraeon, which glowed with a soft, otherworldly light. "These are incredible," he said, gently touching one of the petals. "I've never seen anything like them." Lyra smiled, her eyes twinkling with pride. "They're a symbol of our connection to nature. On Lyraeon, we believe that all life is interconnected, and these flowers remind us of that bond." They continued their exploration, discovering plants that emitted soothing melodies, trees that changed colors with the seasons, and bushes that produced fruits with unique flavors. As they walked hand in hand, Lucas and Lyra felt a deepening connection, one that seemed to transcend the boundaries of their respective worlds. Through it all, their bond grew stronger, and the line between friendship and something more began to blur. Neither Lucas nor Lyra knew what the future held, but they were willing to take the journey together. As their relationship blossomed, Lucas and Lyra faced the inevitable challenges that came with being from different worlds. Their cultures, while fascinating to each other, also presented unique hurdles they had to navigate. One evening, as they sat together on a balcony overlooking the bustling port, Lyra broached a topic that had been on her mind. "Lucas, have you thought about how our relationship would be viewed by others? Our cultures are so different. I worry about how my people will react if they find out about us." Lucas took her hand, his expression serious but reassuring. "I've thought about it too, Lyra. It's not going to be easy, but I believe we can find a way to make it work. We just need to be honest with each other and take things one step at a time." Lyra nodded, appreciating his calm confidence. "You're right. It's just, I've never felt this way before. It's all so new and overwhelming." Lucas squeezed her hand gently. "We'll figure it out together. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it as a team." Their determination to make their relationship work led them to learn more about each other's cultures. Lucas immersed himself in Lyrian traditions, attending virtual cultural classes and reading about their history. He learned about their symbiotic relationship with nature, their communal living arrangements, and their unique approach to problem solving. Lyra, on the other hand, delved into human customs. She studied Earth's history, watched human films, and even tried her hand at cooking human dishes. She found the diversity of human cultures fascinating and admired their resilience and adaptability. Despite their efforts, misunderstandings were inevitable. One afternoon, as they prepared for a cultural exchange event, a minor disagreement escalated into a heated argument. "Lucas, you don't understand," Lyra said, her voice tinged with frustration. "In my culture, it's disrespectful to decline an invitation without a valid reason. You can't just say no because you don't feel like it." Lucas sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I get that, Lyra. But in human culture, personal boundaries are important too. Sometimes we need to prioritize our own well-being over social obligations." The tension hung in the air for a moment before Lucas took a deep breath. "Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to dismiss your culture. Let's try to find a compromise that respects both our traditions." Lyra's expression softened. "I didn't mean to impose my customs on you either. I just want us to understand each other better." They spent the rest of the evening discussing their differences and finding common ground. It was a learning experience for both, one that strengthened their bond and deepened their understanding of each other. As they navigated these challenges, Lucas and Lyra's relationship continued to grow. They celebrated their victories, no matter how small, and supported each other through the difficult moments. Their love for each other was a beacon of hope, guiding them through the complexities of their interstellar romance. One day, as they sat together on a grassy hill overlooking the port, Lyra turned to Lucas with a determined look in her eyes. "Lucas, I want to introduce you to my family. It's time they met you and saw what we have together." Lucas felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Meeting Lyra's family was a significant step, one that would require him to navigate new cultural dynamics and prove his commitment to their relationship. "I'd be honored, Lyra. Let's do it." As they made their plans, Lucas and Lyra knew that their journey was far from over. There would be more challenges, more obstacles to overcome, but they were ready to face them together, their love growing stronger with each passing day. And so, with hearts full of hope and determination, they set off on the next chapter of their adventure, ready to face whatever the universe had in store for them. Chapter 3. Navigating Differences. Lucas and Lyra's decision to introduce each other to their respective families marked a significant milestone in their relationship. It was a journey filled with anticipation, excitement, and a touch of anxiety. They knew that their worlds were vastly different, and bridging that gap would require patience, understanding, and a deep commitment to one another. The first step was for Lucas to visit Lyra's home planet, Lyrion. Lyrion was a world renowned for its natural beauty and advanced symbiotic technologies. Its floating cities and vibrant ecosystems were a testament to the harmonious relationship the Lyrians had with their environment. The journey to Lyrion was a thrilling adventure for Lucas. He boarded a sleek Lyrian spacecraft, its design elegant and streamlined, a stark contrast to the more utilitarian ships he was accustomed to. The ship's interior was spacious and filled with natural light, with living plants integrated into the structure, providing both aesthetics and environmental benefits. As the ship approached Lyrion, Lucas gazed out the window in awe. The planet below was a patchwork of lush forests, crystalline lakes, and towering mountains. The floating cities, suspended by advanced anti-gravity technology, glowed softly in the planet's twilight, their lights reflecting on the surface of the lakes below. Lyra, sensing Lucas's awe, smiled warmly. "Welcome to Lyrion, Lucas. I can't wait to show you everything." They descended to the capital city of Eloria, a breathtaking metropolis that seemed to float on air. The buildings were made of a translucent material that shimmered in the light, and the streets were lined with flowering plants and trees that added to the city's ethereal beauty. Lyra's family lived in a spacious home on the outskirts of Eloria, surrounded by gardens filled with exotic plants and flowers. As they approached the house, Lucas felt a knot of nervousness in his stomach. He had met many people from different cultures throughout his career, but this was different. This was personal. Lyra's parents, Aaron and Thalia, greeted them at the door. Aaron was a tall, dignified man with the same lavender skin as Lyra, his eyes a deep shade of violet. Thalia was a graceful woman with long, flowing hair that shimmered like starlight. They welcomed Lucas with warm smiles and open arms, their hospitality easing his nerves. "Lucas, it's a pleasure to finally meet you," Aaron said, his voice deep and resonant. "Lyra has told us so much about you." Lucas shook Aaron's hand, his grip firm but respectful. "Thank you for having me. Your home is beautiful." Thalia gestured for them to enter. "Come inside. We've prepared a meal for you. It's a traditional Lyrian feast. We hope you enjoy it." The dining room was a blend of elegance and natural beauty, with a large table made of a polished, wood-like material that seemed to glow softly. The meal was a feast for the senses, with dishes that combined vibrant colors, unique textures, and exquisite flavors. There were fruits that burst with sweetness, vegetables that had a delicate crunch, and dishes seasoned with spices that were both familiar and exotic. As they ate, the conversation flowed naturally. Lucas shared stories of his life on Earth, his work as an engineer, and the adventures he had experienced in his travels. Aaron and Thalia listened with genuine interest, asking thoughtful questions and sharing their own experiences and traditions. Despite the warmth and hospitality, there were moments of cultural differences that required careful navigation. At one point, Aaron asked Lucas about his family's history and lineage, a topic that held significant importance in Lyrian culture. In our culture, Aaron explained, our family lineage is deeply respected. It connects us to our ancestors and our heritage. What can you tell us about your family's history, Lucas? Lucas hesitated, unsure of how to respond. Well, my family's history isn't as meticulously recorded as yours. We value our heritage, but it's more about the values and lessons passed down through generations rather than detailed records. Aaron nodded thoughtfully. I see. It's interesting how different cultures prioritize different aspects of their heritage. What matters is the respect and love you have for your family, regardless of how it's expressed. Thalia, sensing the potential tension, changed the topic to something more lighthearted. Lyra mentioned that you enjoy cooking, Lucas. Have you tried any Lyrian dishes yet? Lucas smiled, grateful for the shift in conversation. I've tried a few, thanks to Lyra. I have to say, the flavors are incredible. I'd love to learn more recipes. Thalia's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. I'd be happy to teach you. Cooking is a wonderful way to share cultures and bring people together. Over the next few days, Lucas immersed himself in Lyrian culture. He visited the floating gardens, attended a traditional music performance, and even participated in a communal ceremony that celebrated the planet's symbiotic relationship with nature. One of the highlights of his visit was a trip to the Crystal Caverns, a natural wonder located deep beneath the surface of Lyrian. The caverns were filled with enormous crystals that emitted a soft, otherworldly glow, casting intricate patterns of light on the walls. Lyra explained that the crystals were believed to have mystical properties, enhancing the harmony and balance of the planet. As they walked through the caverns, hand in hand, Lucas felt a deep sense of connection to Lyra and her world. The beauty and tranquility of the place seemed to mirror the bond they shared, a bond that was growing stronger with each passing day. However, not all moments were serene. There were times when the cultural differences between them led to misunderstandings and conflicts. One evening, as they prepared for a family gathering, Lyra mentioned a traditional greeting that involved a specific gesture of respect. In our culture, Lyra explained, it's customary to bow slightly and place your hand over your heart when greeting elders. It shows respect and gratitude. Lucas, still adjusting to the nuances of Lyrian customs, nodded but felt a pang of nervousness. I'll do my best, Lyra. I just hope I don't mess it up. Lyra smiled reassuringly. You'll be fine, Lucas. Just be yourself and show sincerity. That's what matters most. Despite her encouragement, the gathering proved to be a challenging experience for Lucas. The room was filled with Lyrian elders, each with their own expectations and traditions. As he navigated the introductions, he felt a growing sense of pressure to get everything right. At one point, an elder named Seren, known for his strict adherence to tradition, approached Lucas. Lucas performed the greeting gesture, but his nervousness caused him to stumble slightly, making the gesture awkward and incomplete. Seren's expression hardened, and he turned to Lyra with a stern look. Is this the human you have chosen to associate with? He lacks the understanding of our most basic customs. Lyra, sensing the tension, stepped forward. Seren, Lucas is doing his best to learn and respect our ways. He may not be perfect, but his heart is in the right place. Seren's gaze softened slightly, but he remained skeptical. Respect for our customs is not something that can be learned overnight, Lyra. It requires time, patience, and commitment. Lucas felt a wave of frustration and disappointment. He had come so far, only to feel inadequate in the eyes of Lyra's people. As the evening continued, he struggled to shake off the lingering doubts and insecurities. Later that night, as they walked back to Lyra's home, Lucas finally voiced his concerns. Lyra, I feel like I'm letting you down. No matter how hard I try, I can't seem to get everything right. Lyra stopped and turned to face him, her expression filled with empathy. Lucas, you're not letting me down. I know it's not easy, and I appreciate every effort you're making. What matters is that you're trying, and that means more to me than anything. Lucas sighed, his shoulders slumping. I just want to be accepted by your people, to show them that I'm worthy of being with you. Lyra reached out and took his hand, her touch warm and comforting. You are worthy, Lucas. It's going to take time for everyone to adjust, but I believe in us. We'll face these challenges together." Her words brought a sense of relief and reassurance to Lucas. He realized that their relationship was about more than just fitting into each other's worlds. It was about the love and commitment they shared, the willingness to overcome obstacles, and the belief in a future together. As Lucas's visit to Lyrion came to an end, he and Lyra knew that they had taken significant steps in their journey. They had faced challenges, navigated cultural differences, and emerged stronger and more connected than ever. Their next challenge was to introduce Lyra to Lucas's family on Earth. They knew it would be a different experience, with its own set of challenges and expectations. But they were ready to face it together, their love growing stronger with each step they took. Chapter 4: Facing the Unknown. With Lucas's visit to Lyrion behind them, the next step was for Lyra to travel to Earth and meet Lucas's family. The journey to Earth was a thrilling and daunting prospect for Lyra. While she had studied human culture and customs extensively, experiencing it firsthand would be a different challenge. Lucas and Lyra boarded a human spacecraft bound for Earth, its design more utilitarian and functional compared to the elegant Lyrian ships. The journey was long, but Lucas's presence made it enjoyable. They spent the time discussing their experiences, sharing hopes and fears, and planning for their future. As they approached Earth, Lyra gazed out the window, her eyes wide with wonder. The blue planet below was a sight to behold, with its vast oceans, sprawling continents, and swirling clouds. Lucas, sensing her awe, smiled and took her hand. "Welcome to Earth, Lyra. I can't wait for you to see it up close." Their first destination was Lucas's hometown, a picturesque coastal village with sandy beaches and rolling hills. The village was a stark contrast to the futuristic cities of Lyrion, with its quaint houses, narrow streets, and a sense of timeless charm. Lucas's family lived in a cozy house overlooking the ocean. His parents, John and Maria, were warm and welcoming, their smiles genuine as they greeted Lyra. John was a tall, sturdy man with a kind face and a booming laugh, while Maria was a petite woman with sparkling eyes and a nurturing demeanor. "Lyra, it's so wonderful to finally meet you," Maria said, hugging her warmly. "Lucas has told us so much about you." Lyra smiled, feeling a sense of relief at their warm welcome. "Thank you for having me. Your home is beautiful." John clapped Lucas on the back, his grin wide. "You've brought us an extraordinary guest, son. We're looking forward to getting to know you, Lyra." As they settled in, Lyra felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She wanted to make a good impression and show Lucas's family the depth of her love and commitment to him. The first evening was filled with conversation, laughter, and shared stories. Lyra shared tales of Lyrion, its unique culture, and the adventures she had experienced during her travels. John and Maria listened with rapt attention, fascinated by her stories and the differences between their worlds. However, as the days passed, Lyra encountered cultural differences that required careful navigation. One afternoon, as they prepared for a family gathering, Maria suggested that Lyra wear a traditional Earth dress. "In our culture," Maria explained, "we have certain traditions and customs for family gatherings. Wearing traditional attire is one of them. I have a dress that I think would look lovely on you." Lyra appreciated the gesture but felt a pang of uncertainty. "I'd love to wear it, Maria. I just hope I do it justice." Maria smiled warmly. "You'll look beautiful, Lyra. It's the thought and respect that count." Despite Maria's reassurance, Lyra felt a sense of pressure to get everything right. As she dressed in the flowing gown, she couldn't help but feel a bit out of place. The dress was elegant and well-crafted, but it was different from the clothing she was used to on Lyrion. As the gathering began, Lyra found herself surrounded by Lucas's extended family. They were friendly and welcoming, but their curiosity and questions about her home and customs were overwhelming at times. Lyra did her best to answer their questions, but she felt a growing sense of unease. At one point, Lucas's cousin Emily asked Lyra about her people's beliefs and traditions. "I've always been fascinated by other cultures," Emily said. "What are some of the most important traditions on Lyrion?" Lyra took a deep breath, trying to articulate her thoughts. One of our most important traditions is the celebration of the solstice, a time when we honor our connection to nature and the balance of life. We gather as a community, share stories, dance, and give thanks for the harmony that sustains us. Emily's eyes lit up with interest. That sounds beautiful. I'd love to experience it someday. Despite the positive reception, Lyra couldn't shake the feeling that she was an outsider in this new world. She missed the familiarity of Lyrion, the comfort of her own culture and customs. As the evening wore on, she felt a growing sense of homesickness and isolation. Later that night, as they returned to Lucas's home, Lyra finally voiced her concerns. "Lucas, I feel like I'm struggling to fit in here. Your family has been so kind, but I can't help but feel out of place." Lucas took her hand, his expression filled with empathy. "I understand, Lyra. It's not easy to navigate these differences, but you're doing an amazing job. My family loves you, and they're genuinely interested in learning about your culture." Lyra sighed, her shoulders slumping. "I just want to be accepted, to show them that I'm committed to our relationship." Lucas pulled her into a gentle embrace. "You are accepted, Lyra. It's going to take time for everyone to adjust, but we'll face these challenges together." His words brought a sense of comfort and reassurance to Lyra. She realized that their relationship was about more than just fitting into each other's worlds. It was about the love and commitment they shared, the willingness to overcome obstacles, and the belief in a future together. As Lyra spent more time with Lucas's family, she began to feel more at ease. She participated in family activities, helped with household chores, and even learned to cook some traditional Earth dishes. Maria taught her how to make a delicious apple pie, a family favorite, and Lyra took pride in contributing to the meal. One weekend, Lucas took Lyra on a tour of the local area, showing her the places that held special meaning to him. They visited the beach where he had spent his childhood summers, the forest where he and his friends had built forts and played games, and the hilltop where he had often gone to stargaze and dream of exploring the galaxy. As they stood on the hill watching the sunset over the ocean, Lucas turned to Lyra with a thoughtful expression. "Lyra, I've been thinking about our future. We've faced so many challenges and overcome so much together. I know it won't always be easy, but I believe we can build a life together." Lyra felt a surge of emotion at his words. "I believe in us too, Lucas. Our love is strong, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to make this work." Lucas took her hands in his gaze intense and filled with love. "Lyra, will you stay with me? Will you be my partner, my companion, my everything?" Tears welled up in Lyra's eyes as she nodded. "Yes, Lucas. I want to be with you now and always." Their embrace was filled with love and hope, a promise of a future together. As they stood on that hill, watching the sun dip below the horizon, they knew that they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in their love and commitment to each other. As Lyra's visit to Earth came to an end, she and Lucas knew that they had taken significant steps in their journey. They had faced challenges, navigated cultural differences, and emerged stronger and more connected than ever. Their love had grown and deepened, a beacon of hope that would guide them through the complexities of their interstellar romance. And as they looked to the future, they knew that they were ready to face it together, hand in hand, heart to heart. The next chapter of their adventure awaited, filled with unknowns and possibilities. But with their love as their guide, Lucas and Lyra were ready to take on the universe one step at a time.